let's turn to another guest here. His name is Chet Czarniak. He is the former executive editor of USA Today. He wrote quite the op-ed over the weekend. It caught my attention, not just as a journalist, but full disclosure, he's also my father-in-law, Chet Czarniak. Of course, my wife, Lindsay. Chet's good to have you. Thank you so much. And for folks who haven't read it, I encourage them to check it out. It's titled, Trump's Coronavirus Briefings Are Too Dangerous for the News Media to Show Them Live. What was the impetus? What led you to put pen to paper over the weekend?
I had been having a discussion with a couple of journalist friends of mine for a few weeks. One of them particularly was pushing, saying that the media should not cover the briefings live. I took the opposite view. If the president speaks, especially in case of a national emergency or urgency, we should show it live as journalists. A couple of days before Palm Sunday, that conversation started up again. I held firm with it. And then Palm Sunday, watching the briefing, the president seemed to go really far in advocating for hydroxychloroquine, without mentioning the fact that it was in trial. It hadn't been proven widely for its effectiveness in treating COVID-19. And he did not mention the downside, which there is with any medication. In this case, there can be damage to eyes. It can cause some heart issues, skin issues, other things. Again, not unlike many other drugs, but it's there. And I felt the president did not equate that in his presentation. He used, I think, a couple of times the expression, "What do you have to lose?" And I think he also even said, if you have COVID-19, try it. Even if you think you're going to be in contact with somebody with it, try it then. And even though it's prescription, people will find ways to try to get it, or they'll be bugging the heck out of their doctors to try to get it. And I think that needed some cautionary information with it. And I thought he went too far, and that's when I then changed my mind, saying that I think news directors and news producers digitally on air broadcast should really look at that, and maybe there are times when the president should not be broadcast live in these briefings, but you come back with an edited version of what the president said, and here are other facts as we know them.
And you wrote your op-ed before yesterday's news conference. This is just part of what we heard from the president yesterday.
Correct.
I'm going to put it very simply. The president of the United States has the authority to do what the president has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The president of the United States calls the shots. When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
The authority is total.
It's total. It's total. And the governors know that.
So Chet, I mean, how do you think should we handle it? I mean, should we run the president's news conference and then just fact check everything after, or should we tape it, sift through it, and edit out the nonsensical stuff and the dangerous stuff, and play that?
That's something that journalists, every newsroom is struggling with. Current journalists, even retired journalists, because it's almost a foreign concept to journalists not to show the president live when he's having a briefing about a national emergency. I think the media is becoming more nimble. They're starting to show it, and then if they feel that he's going far afield or the interest is waning, they're getting away from it. Where my concern in showing it live is, again, is he putting information out there where he's not providing all the facts about some of the downsides to something. That's where I think the media then has an obligation to serve its readers and keep it, and viewers rather, as safe as possible. And that's the case where you show that, you come back, show the president's word, show it edited. Again, it's a tough call. Yesterday's briefing was a good example, and I think the problem with the briefings is they lack a format. You can't go on every day and expect to see X, Y, Z. Yesterday they started with a defense, and the president has every right to defend himself against criticism about his actions, policy, and timing. But then after that, he went into, here's the news of the day. And to me, it almost sounded like a councilman or a town council secretary reading the minutes of the last meeting, going through it real quickly. And you're introducing people, and sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. And that's what I think the problem is. It has to be, the media has to be nimble in terms of how it shows this, and at times just shut it down, come back with an edited piece. Other times, let it go. I mean, frankly, I thought yesterday's briefing, I found it confusing, I found it chaotic, but that was a briefing where let the audience, let the viewer make up his or her own mind. But when the president gets into something where he's ignoring part of an issue, like the hydroxychloroquine effects of it and the possible negative effects, I think that's that's detrimental.
Chet Czarniak, former executive editor of USA Today. Again, also, full disclosure, my father-in-law, I would encourage folks to read the piece and the thesis. The media has an obligation to transmit the words of the president, but it has a greater responsibility to its audience, particularly its safety and the facts as we know them. Babo, thank you. Thanks for your time, sir. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, Craigo, thank you. Tell the grandkids we said hi.
We'll do it. We'll do it, sir.